Alright guys, so I wanna do something new. I've never really done a video explaining a movie before and basically explaining why I think it's so fucking brilliant. But I decided to do it for this movie now. I just got done watching it and rewatching it has really opened my eyes even more to what it did to really to poke fun at the genre itself, the horror genre. That movie is The Cabin in the Woods. I bring this movie a lot. I bring it up a lot in like tier list and all that when it comes to horror movies. I always put this in the top tier because to me this is such a unique type of movie. What they did with Cabin in the Woods was so unique and so different that I honestly just fell in love with the movie. So basically, I want to explain what makes the Cabin in the Woods so awesome and what makes it secretly brilliant, in my opinion. So what this movie is well known for is how it portrays us as the audience, the creators, and the genre as a whole. It really shows, you know, what the formula is and what we want when we want slasher. This mainly, to me, focuses more on the slasher side of things, but it does poke hole at the horror genre as a whole. So, with Cabin in the Woods, you start off with showing these workers. We don't know who they work for. We don't know what they're doing there. They're having a normal conversation about nonsense. They're just talking about food and how safe it is at their house for their kids and stuff. With the toys they got. I mean, just shit like that, just stupid shit. And then once the guy notices that his friend's not paying attention, he's like, "Are you even listening to me?" And then it shows the title card, Cabin in the Woods. Now already it's just what the fuck is going on? But you think nothing of it because, for all we know, it just could be a normal worker. We don't get into the part where it shows that they are behind this whole entire thing. So then we move forward to us meeting the victims of this movie, the teenagers, who are heading to a cabin in the woods to party and celebrate. What they don't know is that they were being set up from the beginning and led to the cabin in the woods to be sacrifices to the gods, which is funny and really true because every single horror movie that I have ever watched, including slashers, including this franchise right here, we want to see death. We want to see victims. So at the start of the movie, it seems like just your normal generic fucking horror movie, but in reality, they're being led to their sacrifice to the gods. And I'll explain what the gods are near the end of this video, but they're being led to be sacrifices. Now they've already hired actors. Hired an actor at a gas station to be the generic, stereotypical warning of the place is cursed or a lot of death has happened there. Again, going back to old slasher, you know, traits. You always have that one guy who's crazy in the head who warns the people about the danger that's looming ahead. They hired an actor to do that, which is fucking awesome. And again, we don't find that out until a little bit later, but the one thing right at the start of the movie that we know something is wrong is when the bird flies to the edge of where the sacrifice is happening. There's a big, like, invisible dome, and it's meant to match the sky and all that, and the surrounding environments. A bird hits it, and then pretty much fucking electrocutes and dies. So now we know, okay, something's not right. What's going on? So as the movie progresses, we now get to see what those two workers were doing. They worked for a corporation that basically appeases the gods and basically makes and forces these sacrifices to happen. They handpick these teenagers, lure them to this cabin, and then sacrifice them in different ways, judging by what object they picked in the basement and all that. And if they start to get too smart, they pump this gas-like drug that makes them do the complete opposite and make dumb decisions. Basically, making fun of the whole, oh, that's there for no plot convenience. Oh, they're doing this to move the story along. In this movie, they are literally doing that. If they are too smart for their own good, which by the way, the teenagers are pretty smart in this movie, um, they pump the room full of this gas that makes them do the complete fucking opposite and be horror cliches and fucking idiots. Which what this movie is basically doing is basically giving a reason why the people in horror movies do what they do, you know. Basically saying, hey, probably all the movies probably have this little evil corporation that makes them do what they want to do because, you know, they want to appease the gods. So they basically, you know, they're basically normal workers. They have no evil plan except to appease the gods. Um, they are literally just normal everyday workers. There's nothing evil about them. They got no evil scheme. They're just normal everyday workers who were just there to do a job and go home. Which they had every opportunity to make these guys like the mustache twirling villains, but they didn't. They're just average fucking Joes. And this is basically just their 9 to 5 job. They clock in, do what they need to do, go home. And that's, to me, pretty fucking hilarious. But there's one caveat to, you know, the one of the characters, he's always stoned. He's the stoner character. And he smoked so much weed that the toxin doesn't get to him. So he starts to notice things more and more. While the other people, the other teenagers, his friends, they start changing because of the toxin. They start making the dumb decisions, and he's there always questioning it. Basically, he's us in terms of like, why the fuck are they doing this? Why the hell are they doing that? Are you fucking insane? Because he reacts the same way we would when these characters have these dumb fucking moments, right? We react the same way that this character would. Um, he reacts the same way we would. Marty reacts the same way we would. When you know they're like, let's stay together. They pump the toxic in. They're like, okay, let's split up. And you see Marty looking at him like, seriously? You know, he's basically us criticizing the horror genre right now. When we watch these cliche filled slashers and horror movies, he's basically us. And if you rewatch the movie, you'll see what I mean. He literally is us when we're like picking apart the movie. He laughs at he's confused by the fact that his friends are making these dumb as fuck decisions. You know, he's he's basically picking their decisions apart. He's the only one that makes sense there, even though he's the stoner character. He's the only one that makes sense in this entire film, because while his friends are being drugged up due to the toxin gas that they're pumping into the cabin and through the ground, he's unaffected. So he is the only one that makes these smart decisions. He's basically us slash us if we were in the horror genre. If we were in the horror movies, since we watch a lot of horror films, he's basically us. We would make the smart decisions because we've seen enough horror movies. You know, he even makes a line where the girl's like, "Oh, this book is written in Latin," and he's like, "Okay, so I vote we don't read the fucking Latin and we get the hell out of here." You know, he makes the smartest decisions out of all the characters. But what the workers do is, like I said, they sacrifice these kids to the god. And who is the god? The god is us. They are doing this to appease us. That's what horror directors do. That's what horror writers do. They work to appease us as an audience. The god is basically this them trying to make sure they tick all the boxes, make sure we're happy, so we don't, you know, attack them, so we don't explode, we don't destroy the fucking world in their case. Um, and I think that's brilliant screenwriting. Josh Whedon did a great job writing this film. Say what you want about the guy, he may be being called out for being a fucking dickhead. The guy is a good writer. And to me, his best writing is not the fucking Avengers, it's Cabin in the Woods. Because it's so brilliant in the way it's written and how they set up the story and how it's structured and all that. It really makes you look at things differently the more you rewatch it, which is how I looked at it. This film is basically taking the horror genre, taking all of its cliches, picking them apart, and saying, there's a reason for all of this. You know, they're doing this to appease us. You know, and to me, that's fucking brilliant. You know, them doing a movie that's basically showing how us fans, we want horror movies to be the way that, you know, we want it to be. We want it to be kind of the same in terms of like slashers. We want dumb teenagers. We want sex and nudity. We want blood and gore. We want pointless violence in our slasher movies and our horror films. And in the movie, they pump these toxins to make us make those dumb, to make the characters make those dumb decisions, to make them have sex, to, you know, basically to fuck them over. If they act too smart, then guess what? They're reading off script. They gotta put them back in line. That's the way I kind of see the movie Cabin in the Woods. I know I'm probably like all over the place in this video, but that's honestly how I view the movie The Cabin in the Woods, how I view and why I think it's a brilliant movie in whole. I think it's a very cleverly written and brilliant fucking horror movie. So leave a like if you agree, leave a like if you disagree. If you did like the movie, please explain in the comments why you didn't care for the movie, and if you liked it, explain down below why you liked it. And I'll be sure to read your comment and respond. And I hope you guys have an awesome day.